On September 9th, 2015, disaster happened in Amador and Calaveras County in Northern California. The Butte, California fire disaster devastated 475 residences, 343 outbuildings, and 45 structures. About 71,000 acres were burnt and contaminated. There are survivors of this disaster who lost everything and are focused on long-term recovery.
My name is Susan Wasik. I'm 62 years old. I'm a survivor of the Butte fire in Calaveras County in Northern California, and this is my story.
Susan and Stephen Wasik's home caught fire and was reduced to ash on September 11th, 2015. For 37 years, they raised their kids and were part of a thriving community they helped build.
Our homeschool group, which was our neighborhood, we had some credentialed teachers, went back and got their credentials and became administrators. And our homeschool group now has a name, Mountain Oaks Charter School, and we have 450 students.
Susan is a good Samaritan, a humanitarian, and a survivor of a charring nightmare. A wife, a mother, and a friend to many, she stayed busy participating in homeschooling through the years.
We had foster kids when we first started building because Timothy and Tony's mother had died, and they were 10 and 11. The boys lived with us until in the 80s, and then in 1990, Isaac was born. Elijah was born 6 years later, and he was our seventh. So Isaac and Elijah grew up on the land. We homeschooled, had a co-op where we shared our food, a farmer's market and a co-op combined, so we were a food hub.
Hundreds of survivors are misplaced in the Butte fire tragedy, many working full-time, juggling the activities of daily life while facing long-term recovery.
We were unable to get fire insurance because we live in a red zone. So we were unable to get a bank loan to build a house because we couldn't get fire insurance. So no mortgage, no fire insurance, no fire insurance, no mortgage. So we ended up converting the barn into a house. And that's where we've been for 37 years.
It's up to us who are a part of the bigger community. As Americans, we take care of our own.
The first night of the evacuation, when we were, all of our neighborhood was gathered on the lawn in San Andreas of a friend's home. Because there was 30 people, we were sleeping outside. It was still, that day had been 105 degrees. I went to the Red Cross shelter to ask for masks because we couldn't breathe the air. The air was very thick and smoky, and the ground was white with ash. And at the Red Cross shelter, there was no nurse, there was no masks, there was no food for the people staying there, and there should have been cases of bottled water that people could just pick up a bottle of water, and I had to go behind the table and pull out the water so that people could get a drink of water. That should have all been set up for the people. There was no disaster help for us.
Susan and Stephen Wasik are the face of the 2015 Butte fire disaster. Nomad Shelter Alaskan Yurts has created a funding campaign to make and deliver our Yurt in a Box to the survivors of the Butte fire disaster who desperately need immediate help. Join us and help us reach our funding goals. This is a Yurt in a Box. A yurt in a box is a portable, temporary shelter naturally collapsed in an 8 by 4 by 5 foot box. The box collapses into a circular floor and becomes a 16-foot diameter yurt, which contains lattice for the walls, rafters for the ceiling, a skylight with top and side covers. It also comes with insulation, a handmade door, windows, and wood stove with stack. Ideal for crisis transitional shelter. Lee and Jess Tenhoff are owners of Nomad Shelter Alaskan Yurts. and creators of Yurt In A Box. We pledge that each yurt is handmade to the highest quality. Let us join together and provide shelter to a community devastated by this fire disaster. If you have any questions or comments, please connect with us. Every little bit helps. To see more of Susan's story, go to Facebook and search Nomad Shelter Alaskan Yurts.
It's a lot of the old stories, like you tell your kids these stories, about how you had to rough it, and all that other stuff. Yeah. Well, now our boys get to see it firsthand. They get to do it with us.